guys and gals, me Mutahar, and today I want to just have a little short video to talk about why I remove certain content. Now, if you've followed me for the last like 3-4 months specifically, you might notice that sometimes I upload videos and sometimes I do remove those videos. Now, to understand, ladies and gentlemen, deleting videos is not an uncommon thing that people do. Sometimes plans change. Sometimes you really have like a post-nut clarity moment when you release a video and you think, man, this could be a whole lot more of a banger. Let's redo it again. And I know it might seem annoying and you might not get the full story, so here I'm ready to demystify things. A couple days ago, I made a video in regards to Facebook and how they were allegedly selling access to your private DMs on their messenger service over to Netflix. Now, this is a pretty bombshell report, and like every big publication was talking about it, but it was a case of severe misinformation and fear-mongering in at least how it was reported. Now, to give you a quick ADHD version of it, okay, to give you the quick understanding, the chat cat version, the idea that, you know, basically for Facebook Messenger, right? Facebook Messenger is their premier messaging tool, and it was alleged in an antitrust lawsuit, a lawsuit that, by the way, exposed Facebook for basically spying on their competitors and what they were doing with their data through a shady VPN research application that they were getting people involved into. Basically, this lawsuit alleged that Facebook had a special relationship with Netflix, and inside this relationship, Netflix was given access to a special API that allowed access to users' DMs. Now, on the surface, just that line alone scares the shit out of people reading it. And for reporters and like journalists and news organizations that don't honestly have the best track record when it comes to understanding technical specifications, the actual headline was your private DMs were just being sold off. So Netflix could come out and just yoink out some, Jim Bob's DMs and read about crazy shit, when in reality it was talking about an API access for the most part, which basically meant that Netflix could interact with your DM, okay? They could interact with your DM services and send and receive messages if you were recommending a show through the Netflix app and you were using Facebook Messenger to communicate with your homies. It's unfortunately, as data privacy stuff goes, pretty common with messaging applications. And one of the things when it comes to videos like this is I'm not here to point the finger on Facebook, TikTok, Google, whatever. I think every social media service, every tech company spies and does degenerate shit with your private information, which is why I think the government should make laws restricting everyone from having access to, private parts on your devices, right? That's what I really think should be the case. Now, honestly, when I made that video, I wanted to just remove it after about half an hour to an hour because I really felt like covering Facebook's relationship with user data could probably be better done had I just sat down and maybe combined 4 or 5 different examples of Facebook and their lust for your data and the ability for them to just casually share it around. There's a few more examples than just the Netflix thing, so in reality, it ended up just on the fly becoming a bigger project, which is why I ended up removing it. There was a bit of people understanding that maybe I was like retracting or maybe I said something slanderous or libelous towards Facebook. And we didn't do that at all. And not that I would expect Mark Zuckerberg to feel truly threatened by this fat Indian guy talking mad about him on the internet. That wouldn't be a thing. In reality, the reason why the video was removed was simply because A, I wanted to end up making it into a bigger project in regards to Facebook and their, again, data laws and their data, I guess you could say mishandlings, right? Which again is a really serious issue. And if you followed my channel, you'd realize that talking about security and privacy is pretty much a cornerstone. I love talking about this kind of stuff. And especially if it means that I can use it as a form of advocacy to get people to change their habits or at least fight for a more secure private tomorrow, okay? I think it's gross that we live in a world where like you're using a smartphone device that you bought, you paid premium buku bucks for, and these social media services, and especially the people that write the operating system on your device, can just basically be allowed to gather all the telemetry they want on you without you basically having a say in it. And while parts of the world are getting better when it comes to focusing on your privacy, where I live in North America, every company is allowed to know the size of your penis before it fully evolves to that stage, okay? That's how crazy and creepy the world is going to be. And when you talk about artificial intelligence being thrown into the mix, we live in an actual society where like movies like Minority Report can eventually become a reality, where people can basically be profiled before they have done things bad. But I'm basically going off of the rails here, okay? The tinfoil hat is effectively wearing off. One of the other reasons that I kind of dislike, and it comes with my channel and unfortunately the size of it at this point, where if I upload something, I genuinely feel like the people that retweet or repost the content or even engage with it don't actually take a second to watch the content anymore. Just like when articles get released on the internet, I feel like there's maybe 10% of people that click onto an actual article and actually read through the grim details of what that actual piece of media or the article is actually talking about, you know? Like, I actually have read through, 40 something pages of this lawsuit to come down to all of these like conclusions, and it wasn't as spicy and bombastic as some could imagine. Trust me, if I wanted to really clickbait that video, I guess I could clickbait it in the sense that other big companies or other big firms or big like publications were doing by outright misinforming the actual audience or at least misrepresenting the technicals of this specific Netflix Facebook situation. But that wouldn't be fair. I get it. Obviously, as a content creator, and you'll talk to plenty of YouTubers that will say this, clickbaiting the video or at least like, spicing it up a little bit is ultimately an important factor of YouTube content creation. But while I do clickbait, and I do unfortunately fall into that pile as well, just because that's how the system works, I try to at least make it to a point where it's not grossly misrepresentative, or at least, completely different. Obviously, if I say something is targeting your security and privacy, it is, all right? I'm not trying to clickbait, but obviously, titling something as plain Jane as you can will never actually work well in algorithms. But that's enough about YouTube content creation, okay? Any creator will tell you that story, and that's just unfortunately the world of not just YouTube, but general social media we live in, okay? That's just where we're at. And again, sometimes it can be a double-edged sword. I can literally make a video talking about installing Linux operating systems, and it does do well in the algorithm. The algorithm is a weird, fickle beast that I've stopped truly caring about ever since like 3-4 years ago, just because it really doesn't matter as long as you're as long as you're some real human being and not Kwebbelkop AI making content, people will ultimately stick by and watch your stuff. But again, to whittle it on back to the Facebook Netflix story, it really felt like when I made the story and I talked about API stuff, I didn't actually see people talk about the API access or the actual multiple sides to the story and the technical explanation. If anything, it seems like what people did was basically take this story and just start sharing it around the internet, and just without even looking into the video or the actual article or the actual lawsuit, talked about a situation and again let it go misrepresented. And when I looked at all the other headlines, I really hated being a part of those headlines because my story and the way that I presented this story specifically was grossly different than what some of these other big publications were doing. And I found it a little bit disrespectful. So honestly, it's been a little bit of a shock turning point, and I feel like covering the story again, which I will in the next couple weeks, at least in this month, I want to cover it with at least more respect and tact. And I really do hope that if I do cover it and I want to cover it, I really hope that the actual audience engaging with it will actually truly learn from it. The last thing I want to make is content that is misinforming, content that absolutely does not reach people and educate them about an actual topic like this. So yeah, that's why I ended up actually having to remove that video. So yeah, I just wanted to make a little update to talk about it because I saw it posted around on the Reddit. I saw people sending me some DMs on Twitter about it. And yeah, I just wanted to explain why I removed the video and my reasoning for it. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and yeah, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.